Hola, Sagi.
Hey guys, how are you?
Fine, thank you. And you?
Good, good. Oh, now I can see you.
Okay, so we're so happy to have you today. Welcome to We Are the Future seminar, and we're so excited to make this Q&A with you and to talk about the topics that we give you. So the two topics for you are separate or join forces and connections between people thanks to Rikuday Am. So welcome, and the stage is yours.
Thank you very much. So, first of all, I want to say hello, everyone. Oh, here I am. Yeah. I don't know if you can see my dog. She's sleeping right behind me. She's there. So, first of all, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure being here. I miss you guys. I haven't seen a lot of you. I also see a lot of the dancers I haven't seen in a while. Just so you know, here in Los Angeles, we're going to a lockdown again. So now we're locking down again in California. So that's very exciting. So my two topics, I'm going to start with the first one is separate or join forces. And I think this is for me is a little bit personal because I think, especially when I used to live in Israel, a lot of us know, especially the session leaders, is that for some reason, there's a lot of politics involved in Israeli dance. And it starts with um, me, I'll teach the dances of my friends and not other good dances of some choreographers that are not my friends. Or if I have a session in my town, I don't want it to be successful because I want mine to be successful. And I think the first thing is that we need to remember, and that COVID proved to all of us, is that Israeli dance should be a professional hobby. When I say professional hobby, I mean when it's not my job. I can tell you right now, I have three other jobs other than Israeli dance. That's why for me, Israeli dance is something I love doing and I enjoy doing. And if I have five people less or five people more, it doesn't affect how I feel about Israeli dance. It doesn't become a mean competition. And I think um, it gives me the ability to work together. Why? Because look at the choreographers here in Los Angeles that are now active. We have myself, we have Jeremy, we have Orly, we have James, who has a small session, and we have Zohar and Noya, who are doing mostly teams. They're participating in the marathon tomorrow. So if you look at every single one of us, we are so different from each other. We're so different. Orly is super bubbly and she knows dances that they've been doing in California that I don't even know. Sometimes I don't even recognize the music. I have the ability to play older songs that I know because I've been doing Israeli dancing for so many years with all the big names. You have Jeremy who has his own type of session. Same. So when I always think of about Israeli dance is that it's I look at it from the business point of view. The more of us doing it together, the more we do it together, the more people we can attract, the bigger it can become. And people have this wrong notion of no, they're stealing people from each other. We're competing on the same pool of people. We have the same dancers. No, it's not true. Again, look at like two different sessions that we have. Orly sometimes have a lot of dancers that are different than my dancers, and I have dancers that are different than her dancers. And when I bring beginners and she bring beginners, then we grow this field together. And the whole idea is that when you work together and when you put your minds together, then you can really grow Israeli dancing. And now more than ever, it's important because now this time of going online for almost a year, we lost a substantial portion of dancers that don't do online dancing. I do have outdoor dancing. I still have 70% of the dancers are still scared to even show up to these sessions. Even though we are very safe, we have like 12 feet from each other. masks, hand sanitizers, outside, huge space, but people are still scared. So if we don't start working together now, it's going to be even worse when things open up again. So later, after I'm done, I would love to hear some opinions and questions. But I think the worst thing that happened to Israeli dancing is that it became a job, and it became a job. Then the competition was added to it, and then later the politics. And then with these politics and the fact that it's people's jobs and they need every single dancer because that's their income, then we face scenarios when teachers starting to fight with each other and when camps start competing with each other and when marathons and then all the bad politics and the bad blood that comes with it. So if I need to summarize in one sentence, I would say always together. Always, always, always together. If you don't like the person, you don't have to work with them. But if it's just politics about Israeli dance, put it aside, especially now, and just push forward. Be together. That's important.
So it's very interesting that you are telling this because sometimes we need to take this pride and proud of being the main leader and the main Israeli dance leader and choreographer and to work with other people because I think that we all together are making this movement and all the time we need to know how to work together and as you say we we know the people that is working with us and in the movement. So I think that that's very interesting. So uh, talking about separate or joint forces, what do you think about the connections between these people?
So we're talking about connection between teachers or connection in the community of Israeli dancing.
Like first with teachers and also with the people.
Okay, so first thing is, I think when the best thing that you can do is work with other teachers. And if you know, oh hi, if you know, you've been to my camps and you've seen that it doesn't matter who's there. It doesn't matter who's there. I always, usually in my camps, I work the hardest and I'm the less visible one because it's important for me to build up the teachers that work with me. So if when you guys were there, you led a line session and Daniela taught a dance. And when Karina is there, we make sure that she is being seen and participate because when I started dancing, I didn't start as a dance instructor. I started as a dancer, and I met Karina in the first camp I ever went to in KEF in New York. That was the first time I met Karina, and they all respected me so much, and they helped me so much, and I learned from them so much. So when you work with other teachers, you can only gain. You can't lose because if you work together, then you'll help each other. You'll help each other. You'll add value to each other's sessions and projects. And you can ask later about, you can ask Elad and you can ask Michael and you guys, you've been to my camp, so you see how I operate. I always want the other teachers to give everything they have to give, and I'm there learning and looking, and we have a lot of meetings to then discuss what we did so we can learn from each other and really share that experience. And about Israeli dance connecting communities. So I think my first camp, as I said, I went to KEF in New York. I think I was 19, 18. I think I was 18, the first camp I ever went to. That was 15 years ago. I'm getting old. We are the future. I'm in the middle. I'm already in the future. So the beautiful thing, and I think about the most beautiful thing about Israeli dance is that it's the only folk dance in the world that is international, like really, truly international. And what does that mean? You can do here in the US, they have country line dancing. you can't go to Serbia and go into a country line dancing session and you'll know the dances and everybody will look at you. You're probably not going to be able to find a session like that. So there are two aspects for Israeli dancing. One, that you have a home wherever you go. There is almost not one country in the world that doesn't have a session. It might be a small session of 8 people. I was in Africa, in South Africa, in Cape Town, and they had a session of 7 people. And I went there and it was just amazing because who thinks that in South Africa they're going to have an Israeli dance session? So because we do the dances, because you know Yuval was talking, and I'm sure Yuval can share that as well. When he creates a dance in his living room, and then you travel all around the world and you see communities of Jewish people, of people who love Israel and they're not Jewish, and you just see how it brings people together. I think that was the most fun part for me to choreograph dances. I think one of my motivation to choreograph was the ability to choreograph a dance in my room and then seeing it in Japan, in Australia, in Europe, in Israel, here all over the US, in South Africa. And then there's another aspect when you reach those communities. I always say that a lot of my people, when we have regular sessions, you will see that I have people that come to my dance nights and don't dance at all. So why are they coming? Why are they paying entrance and they're coming, but they're still coming? Why? It intrigued me for many years, and I asked a lot of these people, why do you come? They come for the social part, because going to session, and look at you guys, you are like family through dance. Now, it doesn't matter if it's stage dance or if it's dancing at school or if it's Israeli dance. The component of dance and social dances bring the social aspect. And then together, I think I met a lot of friends through Israeli dance that to this day we're good friends. And I know that a lot of them, not even teachers, a lot of dancers, I will go and visit without dancing at all. And I think Israeli dance have the ability that no matter where you go, let's say you move. Let's say when I moved to the US, I didn't know a lot of people here in California. All I did was go to 1 or 2 sessions here, and that's it. I was braced as a family. And Gingy here, for example, she was the first one who ever took me to Disneyland because I was here, and I met her for the first time through Israeli dancing. And she said, "Hey, what are you doing tomorrow?" I had no plans, and she took me to Disneyland. And that's a great example because I never met her before. And if it was outside of Israeli dancing, it would be really weird. But inside Israeli dancing, it's you connect very quick and you find a home no matter where you go. So that's about the connection that Israeli dance brings.
Amazing.
So we have the last questions before the Q&A. And in what way do you consider that you can support the next generation?
So if there is something I think about the next generation, there are a couple of things, okay? And piggyback on what Yuval said. So Yuval said that you need to make it interesting for young people. Now, there's a small problem. There's a small problem with making it interesting to young people. And why am I saying this? Because when I started dancing, I had a huge group of young dancers with me. When the generation before me started dancing, there was only young people that were dancing. Now there's a little problem. And what is the problem? So if I have, in my session, I have approximately 150 dancers on an average night. So 150 dancers, 96% of them are 35 and up. Now, let's say I get young dancers. I get like 3 of them or 4 of them come to session. They're in their 20s. When they come to session, they're the minority. We have 4 young dancers and the rest are older. So it's very quickly easier for them to get lost in this session when they feel like it's mostly adults. Now, why am I saying this? Because when I moved into the US, I started country line dancing. And if you ask any American, usually it's older people. It's not young people. But here in California, it's mostly young people. and I'm talking young, 18 to 25. I was there. When I was 25, I was the older one there. Now it's amazing to see because they still do dances. It's very similar to Israeli dances, but it's a bit different, but it's very similar. They have a choreography to a song, and everybody's doing the same choreography. So I was amazed, and I started thinking why, and it got me to a conclusion that two things. One is you need to make, if you want young dancers to come to Israeli dancing, have sessions only for young dancers. Now it sounds counterproductive because how are they going to dance with the adults? It doesn't matter. For the first step, get session just for them. So they can come and the boys can meet the girls and the girls can dance with the boys, and you make it fun for them. And I started before COVID, I started working on a plan with Gadi to change, to take dances for young people and do it club style. What is a club style? To do it in a place where it's not a gym, all white light. It's not, it's not, they're not coming to a yoga session. You want to make them feel like they're going to a party. And you're doing it online. Remember when you did the young dance party with lights and alcohol? That what's gonna bring them. Once they're hooked on Israeli dancing, once they start dancing, it's addictive. They'll dance anywhere on Zoom. They'll dance on Carmiel, on sand. They'll dance on grass. Then they'll dance with old people. They'll dance with kids. They'll dance with whoever because they don't care at that point. Look at us. We don't care. We dance. No matter what we need to do, we dance. But why? Because we love it. But if today was my first day and I would come to dance on Zoom, I will never come back again. Or if I come to dance and I'm the only young person in a full stadium with 100 people, if it's 50 people, with 300 people, I'm probably not going to come back. So you need to make it fun for the young people in a box for them, tailor this for them, have them get addicted to Israeli dancing, and then start crossing them to the older session, your regular session. And that's what I think is going to happen. We started doing it and it went well. Right before COVID, we scheduled a group of 60 young dancers at age 16 to 24. And we were supposed to start a session with them every Tuesday. And then COVID hit and we couldn't do it anymore. So hopefully when this is over, we'll be able to go back to it.
We don't have anything to say that everything that you said, it's true. Like,
thank you.
we're very surprised with this.
We agree with you.
So we're going to, let's start with a Q&A. So please go to participants, raise your hand with a button, and we will give you your turn. And
Wait, oh. Hi, Sagi.
Hey, Jean, how are you?
Good thing I took you to Disneyland when I did because it's been closed since March.
Yeah, it is.
My question is, when did you move to Los Angeles and how did you start your session here?
So I moved to Los Angeles, I think almost 9 years ago. In January, it's going to be 9 years. So that's a long time. I started my session. I used to work back then, if you remember, Lior had a small session here in LA, and I just tagged along in the beginning just to see, because I didn't have anything to do. So I tagged along, and then the session got shut down in the place that we were dancing. And at that point, we had to find a different place. So I found a location. I started the Monday session, and then quickly I started the Thursday session almost a few months later. And ever since then, I've been doing sessions. And after a year, I think we started our first Camp Mahola. And the next camp was camp number 7. Was supposed to be camp number 7. So it will be next year, hopefully.
We'll be there. Oh, yeah, we'll be there. And Madeline turns 9 December 6th. And it will be our 6th camp, your 7th, but our 6th, in which we only live 7 minutes away. So we'll just be there.
That's good. That's good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, since you mentioned the camp, we have another question. In what
Yes.
month did you decide to make a dance camp, and what good or bad things happened during this process?
First of all, let's start. Okay, let's start with when you do a camp, everything was bad. Everything was so hard. Oh my God, I remember. So let's start by saying this. Everything that can go wrong in camp will go wrong. So I know if you guys are planning on having a camp at any point, just know that whatever can go wrong will go wrong. I think the now it's a lot better, but it's not because of me. It's because of my team. I have an amazing team around me of people who actually love Israeli dancing and care about Israeli dancing. Because you need to understand that we went from a camp to a festival because we have teachers courses, we have kids classes, we have teens, we have adults, we have nostalgia, we have partners, circles, lines, performances. So it became a festival. So if you really want to do it and you guys already have an amazing team of people, then you'll need to know what can each other do best and let them do it. And that will save you for the first camp. It was raining like crazy, and we had to walk from the rooms to the dance hall. Second camp, it was the first time Gandhi came to camp. The sound was terrible for the 3 days. We bought 8 more speakers, and then we brought another soundman in the middle of the camp with a new sound system. It was just terrible. Camp the year after, 2 of our performances canceled last minute. People didn't even know about it because we played it off very well. Following camp, every camp, there's a problem. I think, but the best thing that came from this camp is a couple of things. One, I think I was able to bring a lot of choreographers to California that were not invited before, and give them space to actually work here and be known. Like Michael. Michael was, I think, maybe I was the first who brought him to California. I think I was the first who brought him to California. Same with bringing older choreographers that people don't invite anymore a lot, like Avi Peretz and Victor, who came to camp and it was amazing. Another good thing that came for camp is a lot of young communities get to come to camp. So you guys were at my camp, Brazilians, Argentina, dancers from France, young dancers from Israel. So I think that was this is one of the most important things for me when I do the camp. That's why we collect so much money in donations so we can help young dancers, local and international, to come to our camps. And I think the camp built a community. Majola is now a Majola family. So you know the feeling. A lot of the dancers here that are now with us in this Zoom meeting are dancers who attended at some point in Majola or still come every single year.
Amazing.
Okay, so we know that you have a lot of challenges when you're making a camp, but don't worry, we we have had a lot of fun in the camps. So
Perfect. That means no, you don't see the problems. That's a beautiful thing. You don't see that. That's why you need a good team, and they deal with all the problems, and you focus on the camp.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I don't know if there's another question or
Okay, so we have, if anyone wants to ask something, we have the last minute. So raise your hand, or I have another question if you want.
You have a lot of questions.
You okay? Michael, תשאל שאלה. Michael should ask a question. He's texting me the whole time.
I'm trying to bother him in the middle, so.
Michael, איפה אתה? Where are you? Hi, Michael. It's good to see you on Zoom. Just so you know, Michael doesn't go to any Zoom. He chooses only the ones he like.
Yeah. And you were the first one to bring me to California, and also more teachers I know, like Almog, and more people. And I think I can say from my point of view, just because you mentioned, I have to say that it's not a question, it's a comment. Just because you mentioned the camp and you mentioned the sessions in LA, and I got to visit a lot of places in the world lately. And when I came to LA to the sessions and to the camp, you can see like it's like you say, you can feel so all the small details are being taken care of and everything. And it's amazing to hear the backstage, to see how many times things can go wrong while the camp is running. So I was witness to that, and that's it. That's a comment. I don't have a question. Sorry, Sagi.
It's okay. I forgive you. I forgive you. תודה, מיכאל.
Okay, thank you very much, Sagi.
You're welcome. Thank you very
We know
much.
that, Stuart, you have another question, but we don't have any time. But if you want, you can write it on the chat. And if you can, Sagi, you can.
I will answer, yeah.
Amazing.